I think it goes without saying that one of the best feature additions to FM22 is the NxGen award. I don't know about anyone else, I just look forward to the end of March and kind of seeing all the best young players in the world. This year's no exception because we've got a fair few players in it, but before we talk about our players in it, just to look at the number one player, Yilaba Gajoni. That's definitely not how you say his name. I'm going to be honest, not well versed in Albanian names, but the 18-year-old plays for Lazio. He's capped internationally. Apparently, I have scouted him. He's been on my radar at some point, probably with my scouts. They don't really rate him. Low consistency, competitive streak, not adaptable. They say I should avoid him, or at least that's the vibe I get based on that scout report. Definitely wouldn't have him at number one ahead of some of our players. Interesting to note, we have 5 players in it, although there are a few more players actually in it who are joining us soon that we'll talk about in a second. But let's go through these players real quick. Of course, Kyondo we talked about last episode. He continues to shine. He continues to improve. I've got a bit of a dilemma really, because if I loan him out, he won't get homegrown at club. Equally, if I keep him at the club, he's only going to be second choice, but at the moment, as second choice, he's still developing. So maybe I should just keep him around. Elsewhere, we've got Deliman, who we've loaned out to Swansea. We signed him from Bayern Munich for 8.5 million. He's played 8 games in the Championship and not done amazing since January. We, of course, have Agayi, who I think is probably our best option, to be honest, in terms of young players in our team. The media like him, but he's only in at 20th. Elsewhere, Horvat makes it in at 29th. We have loaned him out in January. He's picked up 2 caps for Croatia since then, and, well, his development indicates that the loan spell for Sheffield United is doing him the world of good. In fact, I know he picked up the Championship Young Player of the Month last month. And the last of the players who is of our kind of actual players in the voting is Mads Bakke, who, of course, was unhappy. He's still not a happy camper. We talked about him a few episodes ago, but in at number 37, not a bad player. I don't think he's that amazing. I mean, you look at the potential ability our staff think he has. You look at the inconsistency, his lack of flair. I'm not the biggest of fans. One player who I want to mention, and if you watched Park to Prem last year, you'll be excited. David Lind. Remember David Lind? We had a David Lind last year. He is an English player. He generated in Denmark. As you can see here, he's played for 2 years for Nordsjælland, playing plenty of games, not having the best of performances, but he looks absolutely phenomenal, and he will be joining us in, about 9 months' time. Now, some people might be a little bit confused. Jack, David Lind, how can you have had David Lind before? He's a regen. They're different in every save game. Well, if you search face in the game, all lowercase, you'll get given a list of players who are basically references to real-world people who have worked at Sports Interactive, people who have worked as researchers, some people who kind of won charity auction prizes, that kind of stuff. And these are different regens that will appear in all your save games. David Lind is one such player. Stephen Gold, remember Stephen, our German striker? He's another player. There is a reasonable chance you have a Stephen Gold in your universe. So if you've not already gone and had a look in any save game you've got in the future, take a peek. Not guaranteed to generate in the first few years. You can be waiting a long time for these players to appear, but he will appear eventually. And as for the Stephen Gold update, 1 goal in 7 in the Championship. He's not doing great at Stockport. Anyway, I realise I've done plenty of talking to start today's episode before we've even run the intro. Editing Jack will not be happy. Today, FA Cup semi-final and a game against Newcastle United, who are gunning for the title. 2 big matches, we need to win both. Let's see if we can make it happen. Yes folks, welcome back to Park to Prem. This is episode number 17. I've played forward the last couple of games that I needed to do after the NxGen award, and we are sat here ready to do battle. We are ready for a trip to Wembley to take on a Liverpool team who have already knocked us out the EFL Cup, who are currently top of the Premier League, and who have an Erling Haaland who has 45 goals in 34 games this season. I mean, I'm assuming he's played all the games. He has played all the games. But 45 goals for this man. He's 32. It's not fair. He's too good in Football Manager. Now, we already talked all about the NxGen award, so let's talk all about what's left this season, because today we come back for 2 rather large games. Since you were last here, 5 matches played. We'll cover these real quick. We beat Brentford 4-1. That was expected. We beat Reading 3-1. That was expected. A good turnaround, I suppose, after the disappointing result against Manchester United. Unfortunately, away from home against a Southampton team who were battling for survival, we succumbed to a defeat. They scored in the 91st minute. That has happened way too often this year. We concede late goals a lot. The good news is the roles were reversed against Nottingham Forest. This game was mad. We were a goal down at half-time. We were 2 goals down just 3 minutes into the second half. But from there, we bounced back with a bang. De Silva went nuclear. Elsewhere, Valdir played great. Junior grabbed a goal in the 93rd minute. And this late comeback that happened in the last 25 minutes saw us win a game that we should have won convincingly by a scoreline of 4-2. At the end of the day, it counts as a win. We did get a little bit lucky. Most recently, we took on Leicester. They are down in the bottom half of the table. We should be beating them. Wasn't the most convincing of performances. 2 goals in the last 12 minutes in this one. We are making a habit of leaving it late. It was a game that we dominated. We created a load of chances. The finishing was not amazing. You might notice Middleby dropped for this game. Severin started as our striker. He grabbed a goal. Gorojaga grabbed a second. He picked up man of the match. And Gorojaga, as you can see from this recent form, there's lots of green bars. There's lots of goals. He's back, everyone. He's playing well. And we need this because we're playing against his former club today. So just to take a peek at how the Premier League table is looking, we only have 4 games left of the year. Today we're taking on Newcastle United. As things stand, we're still in 6th. We're still where we left things. That loss against Southampton wasn't as costly as I'd feared. That because Everton and Manchester United have been awful. Manchester United have drawn 3 of their last 5. As for Everton, they're just not very good. Manchester United do have a game in hand. If they win that, they go 2 points behind us. Really start breathing down our neck, which means that today's second game, which is against Newcastle United, away from home, is rather important for us and equally important for them. The Premier League holders looking to catch Liverpool. They are 8 points behind Liverpool with a game in hand. They will need to beat us. And, well, it's a game that both teams are going to desperately want to do well in. But no messing around today. We are going to get into this game against Liverpool. It's a big game for us. It's a tricky game for us. Of course, we already lost to them in the EFL Cup when we rotated our team. Today, we're taking them on in the FA Cup. And for this game, I am going to go, I think, and play with a defensive midfielder. I'm going to go back to old ways. Also, I think I'm going to bring Middleby back into the team. So actually, when it comes to today's team, this is what I'm going to go with. I'm putting faith in Middleby. I feel like on the big occasion, when the cameras are on, he's done pretty well. He's been training lately rather well by his standards. His form is a little bit hit and miss, but I just trust him when the chances fall his way in this kind of game to score them. Elsewhere, De Silva and Gorojaga on the left and right, of course, both former Liverpool players. We talked about that last time. I want them to do well against their former team. In the centre of the midfield, we are going to go with Carlier alongside Henia. Elsewhere, we've got Ulrich in the midfield with Forti out at left back. He just played for Argentina and got his first goal for Argentina in the last international break. A really big moment for the most senior of our defenders. I feel like it's sometimes forgotten. Forti is 27, but the rest of our defence, Fofana, McIntosh, Tulio, Ruiz, all under the age of 24. This is a team that I feel like can really grow into itself. We are only going to get better, I feel like, in the years to come, especially at the back. And well, I'm going to hope from a young defence for a mature performance. As for Liverpool's team, we know who to fear. This man, Erling Haaland, is going to be the spearhead of everything that they do, but they have got a few other notable players. Siric here is perhaps the best left-back in the world. He is beyond solid, the 25-year-old. They signed him for £2 million from Kukuriki. You can see here he is, well, not actually had the best ratings, but he's one of those players that when you just look at all the numbers, they're a little bit terrifying. And another player to perhaps be wary of is Nicolo Ravella. He has 10 assists in 31 in the league. He's been kind of Haaland's maiden provider, although to be honest, Liverpool are a little bit of a one-player team. They're running away at the top of the table. I'm scared, but I really want to win at Wembley. Let's see if we can make it happen. So here we are going into this game. Haaland is starting, Zaniolo is starting, Siric is starting, Ravella's there, Theo Hernandez, Nianzou, Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's a stacked Liverpool team. You can see why they're top of the Premier League, put it that way. And of course, we are at Wembley for this FA Cup semi-final. We were here at this stadium a year ago for the EFL Cup final. This is only our second time at Wembley as a club manager. I really want to win a domestic trophy. I know that this is going to be hard. It's going to be impossible, some would argue, but we've got to give it our best shot. And whilst we've not beaten Liverpool yet in the league this year, or in the Cup, last time we met them was 1-1. So I feel like we can go toe-to-toe with them on our day. We need to be at our best today, though. 25 minutes into this game, the combined XG of the two teams is 0.07. There's not been a lot of creativity. We are edging out possession, and well, we have the ball here. Middleby plays it wide to Gorojaga. Options at the back post are queuing up. Gorojaga turns in, gives it to Henia. Back to Gorojaga. Henia hits on the volley, and Carlier, the £52 million man, I will say his price tag allowed. He has been shocking for us. He's not wowed me. He's not tickled my pickle, but I'll tell you what he's done today. He's given us the lead. Gorojaga and Henia with some lovely interplay out on the byline. Henia back to, well, you saw it for yourself. The interplay was too quick to commentate, but it's Carlier's volley through a body of players in front of the keeper that's given us the lead. It's the first and only real chance of this half so far. And with 10 minutes to go to half time, I am going to remain happy if it stays like this. I'm going to shout some words of encouragement. You can see it's been very, very even, but no highlights are playing, and we're in the lead. Now, I feel like this is the kind of game where if I tell the players, I'm really happy with what you've been doing, they all play terribly in the second half. So rather than do that, I'm far from pleased. Let's get them fired up. Let's get them motivated. So far, Collier and Henier have really been running the centre of the midfield. McIntosh has played well too. Ulrich on a booking on a 6.5. Not liking what I'm seeing. You know what? We're going to bring in Valdir. We're going to switch him to be a defensive midfielder on defend. And we're going to try and be a little bit sensible. Worth noting, Valdir has requested to leave the club. I've told him he can go at the end of the year. I don't think he's that amazing for a Premier League club as a ball-winning midfielder, but he is the best that we have. So we're going to rock him today and, well, hope that he can just do the business. We've reached the 60th minute. They've only had 2 shots on target. They've done nothing in this second half. The decision to go with the 4-3-3, I feel like has worked quite well in this game in terms of just cutting off their supply. The defensive midfielder gives us a little bit more of a base. And whilst I don't want to say it too loudly, Erling Haaland has been quiet today. I shouldn't have said anything. Zaniolo's through. Ruiz, he's not had a whole lot of action, the goalkeeper. That is a monumental stop. We signed Ruiz for his shot stopping. He's shown us his capabilities there, but we have still got a corner to deal with. Fofana heads it away from danger. It's a throw into Liverpool, but I'm hoping the highlight's just going to end. It is just going to end. There's 23 minutes left. What other changes do I want to do, or could I do, was what I was about to say before Gorojaga has got a knee injury and indicated he has to come off. I'm going to bring in Severin and De Silva on a booking. You know what I'm going to say. It scares me. So we're going to bring in Woodward as well. We're going to inject some fresh legs and some pace into the wide area. 2 rather quick players. I wouldn't say they're as fast as Gorojaga, but they are against tiring defenders, should do quite well. And well, suddenly there's only 10 minutes left here. Going to just go with one more shout of demand more from our players. And well, Liverpool need a goal. They're going to be committing men into the attack. Maybe we can look to hit them on the counter, but you've got to expect we're going to need to absorb some pressure. And well, the pressure could be building here. Lugo on the near side floats it towards that man, Erling Haaland, who hits it to Neto. It hits the woodwork. Why are we passing it around in the box? The whole playing out of defence thing is being taken rather literally. And Liverpool are throwing one last roll of the dice. They're going to Haaland, Alonso and Zaniolo as a 4-3-1-2. You know what? I feel like we might match up quite nicely against that. I'm not going to change anything. Will I live to regret that? Possibly. There's 5 minutes remaining. Fofana, Carlier, it's bouncing around in the box. 40 has an effort. It's blocked away. Oh my word. There was chances there. Liverpool defenders throwing themselves in front of the ball in the hope that they might get one more chance here. That chance isn't going to come. It's the worst semi-final you could imagine for a neutral. I don't give a Scooby-Doo. We've won it 1-0. The XG, very good for us actually. We were the better team, you could argue. The only, I want to say, what's the opposite of a silver lining? The dark edge of a silver cloud is the Gorojaga injury. How bad is it? We've got an FA Cup final, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe a shot at redemption. We've achieved some of the board expectations. So if anyone was worrying that I might get sacked, I hope that's going to help us. Gorojaga gets one over on Liverpool, but did Gorojaga have the last laugh or not? I'm scared to click on this. Oh, he's out for 2 to 3 weeks. I feel like that could have been a lot worse, but it's still not a great injury. Although it is currently our only first team injury. So I really can't afford to complain. And well, Fofana, 8.3, did the business. You look like you're going to have been an inspired purchase made right at the end of the summer transfer window at the start of the year for Fana. Came in for the big bucks, puts in a big performance there on the big stage, a man who enjoys the big matches. And who are we playing in the final? Who are we playing in the final? It's either going to be Watford or Manchester United. They play tomorrow, but we do play Newcastle in a week's time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get forward and travel up north to St James's Park. We'll check on the FA Cup. We'll see who won it, who we're playing in the final. Don't go anywhere, folks, because as good as domestic cup success is, we do need to do the business in the league, or our job could still be in jeopardy. Top 6 is needed. A win today in this next game could be huge. Newcastle United, they await us. Okay, folks, so drum roll please. The team we are playing in the FA Cup semi-final, it's already on screen here, is Manchester United. Now, here's the interesting thing, which I really hadn't thought about. 6th place is only a Europa League spot if the winner of the FA Cup also has European football. Now, the issue with that is that both ourselves and Manchester United are very, very / almost impossibly likely to finish top 5. There is a slim chance that if we win against Newcastle today, then win all our remaining games, a miracle could happen, but that's a little unlikely. The most likely scenario is we and Manchester United finish 6th and 7th. At this point in time, that seems likely. We've got games in hand. Everton and United have played a game more. And as a result of that, the FA Cup game becomes the game for all the marbles. Next episode, we come back, we take on Manchester United, and the winner gets European football. But no, it can't be that simple, can it? Because Manchester United are still in the Europa League. So what happens if Manchester United win the Europa League? Well, if Manchester United win the Europa League, they get a Champions League spot, which means if we can get 6th, we would get a Europa League spot. Manchester United, as Europa League winners, get a Champions League spot. But if Manchester United win the Europa League and we don't finish 6th, we wouldn't get European football. I think. Look, if someone wants to do the math and figure it out, please do down in the comments. But I think that's how it works. Basically, if we win today against Newcastle, we keep a slim hope of 5th place alive. If we don't, it could be the FA Cup for all the marbles. Now, unfortunately for us today, Gurajagir isn't available. With the exception of Severin coming into the team out on the right-hand side, I am unchanged from the game against Liverpool. It's the exact same squad. The change, obviously, on the bench is slightly more severe because we get 2 extra spots. But the long and short of it is, I think this right now is my best team. It's the team I'm going to set the task of beating the reigning champions of the Premier League today. We're going to see how they do. Worth noting, Newcastle very, very unlikely now to retain their Premier League title. If you were wondering about their team, they have Donnarumma. He's their key man. I think we looked at them earlier on in the year. This Newcastle team are good. If we just look at their past league positions, you can see they've always been kind of a non-Champions League team until this year where they won the league, got in the Champions League, and right now they're in the semi-finals. So you know what? Fair play to you. Hopefully that fixture congestion is going to work against them. I suppose that's one thing we should acknowledge. Ourselves and Liverpool are, I think, the only 2 teams of all the teams that we're kind of battling it out with that had no European football going into this year. We had an easier schedule, less intense. I was kind of hoping we might be able to capitalise on that a little bit more. As things have transpired, we've not maybe lived up to the expectations I had, but nevertheless, 6th as a newly promoted team, I don't think is too terrible. I think we've had a fair bit of bad luck. We've had some great performances. We've had some slightly less great performances. If we could get 6th and an FA Cup win, I think that would be, by all accounts, a really good season. If we could get 5th, then I start to party. And if we want that to happen, we need a difficult win here. Away from home, we're going to see what we can do. Because De Silva's on the far side. We're only 2 minutes in. Carlier, the hero of the final, whips it to Severin, who hits the woodwork and has his 2nd effort blocked by Junior at the back post for Newcastle United. It was almost the dream start. It was almost the perfect start for us. We might still have a chance from the set piece. McIntosh heads over. Newcastle United are on the back foot early. I feel like we've made a little bit of a habit of not starting games particularly quickly, especially against the better teams that we've done battle with. So good to see us get off to a good start, but we don't have the goal, And we may well have some defending of our own to do here because Newcastle United are working the ball into the middle. And but for a superb Ruiz stop, they would have had the lead. I don't even think Ruiz reacted there. The ball was blasted straight at him. We've still now got a corner to deal with, which we will deal with, I think. I hope. I pray. It's blocked away again by Fofana. Heroic defending by both teams, just defenders throwing themselves in front of the ball. Still, we might have more to do though. Ball whipped in, McIntosh gets it away from danger again. Can we deal with it this time? Please, let's just deal with it this time. I don't want to see this. Rocker, back post to Schuster. Back with Baena, who took the corner, so he's still out in the wide area. Agume, Schuster. I don't like this. Newcastle are having the ball. It's not often that teams dominate the ball against us and pen us at the edge of our half, but there's a phase of play there where Newcastle look confident. Also, Collier has apparently picked up a knock. He's still on the pitch for now, and he's in possession of the ball. What can he do? Ulrich, De Silva, Ulrich with it. Back with De Silva, turns his man and then blasts it into the top corner. He is our top goal scorer in the Premier League. I think that's his 15th in the league. He's coming for some criticism, but I'll tell you what, De Silva does know how to find the back of the net, and he's done it just there. It is hammered home, a little give and go here with Ulrich. Turns his man, I think it was it Tomori on him? It was Tomori on him, the Newcastle United captain. Embarrassed there by De Silva. Captain on captain action. And, well, our ship has come out better in this kind of fight. This battle at sea. Captain on captain. Should never have started there. Can we get another goal? Bail me out, Football Manager. Give me something else to talk about. I'm now just sat imagining Tomori dressed as a pirate. Anyone else? No, just me. Carlier, middle B. Oh, I mean, of all the goalkeepers to come up against, Donnarumma's one of the better ones. And you know it was a good chance because I instinctively moved my mouse into the middle of the screen as if that was somehow going to help the ball get to the back of the net. And well, not for the first time this game, McIntosh getting his header on a corner. Unfortunately, not on target. And well, with 5 minutes gone in this game, Newcastle United not looking good here. We have been on top, creating way more. Maybe that can continue here. I'd love to get a second goal whilst we're on top. Middleby, our false nine playmaker, plays it back. Carlier tries to dink the keeper. It was audacious, perhaps unnecessary. It's ended up on the roof of the net. And with that, Newcastle are going to survive until half-time at 1-0. I hope that is not a mistake we're going to live to regret. De Silva apparently looks demotivated. Okay, you know what? I've inspired some players. I've demotivated the leader more than most. I mean, is that a net positive of a team talk? I'll let you decide. I'm hoping that the bad team talk isn't about to have disastrous consequences, but there is a very early highlight here. It's De Silva with it. Henier to Middleby. Running into the wide areas, creating channels of space for other players to move into. Fofana. Got to be careful on a booking, but a player who I feel like I've grown to trust over the course of this year at right back. Severin in for Gurajaga today, cutting inside on his left foot, hits it just over the crossbar. Maybe could have put it on a plate for someone else, but it did open up in front of him. The chance on that occasion goes a begging, but well, still plenty of time in this game. And the way this match is playing out, it feels like the second goal is inevitable for us. Of course, football doesn't work like that. You can have all the chances in the games, but if you don't take them, only takes one to lose. But we're going to get one there, and I think it's going to count. Severin broke the offside trap, I think. Not 100% sure on this, but it did look like he just stayed onside for me. He snuck it in at the near post, and it's going to be given. Donnarumma didn't stop it. Like I said, Severin, he was going to get one eventually. Henier played it through on his weaker right foot, squeezes it in at the near post. Donnarumma, maybe some question marks over his positioning, but it was a difficult situation to address for the goalkeeper. It gives us a 2-goal cushion here. I feel like against a lesser opposition, this is the point where I'd look to make subs, maybe freshen up some legs, give some players complaining about lack of first-team football some game time. What I was about to say is, you can't really afford to do that against Newcastle United, and we've now seen why. Rafa Leao, he might be 33 years old in this Football Manager universe. He's still a blooming good player. He nips in behind. The defenders are chasing shadows, and it's a confident finish. It's the first real chance that Newcastle have had all game, but it's in the back of the net for them. And with that, I think it's time to get a little bit shouty. A demand more. Koundé's just come on for them at centre-back as well. I'll tell you what, it's a rather good Newcastle team. You can see how they won the Premier League title last year. Well, they are looking to complete a comeback. In possession, Koundé. Newcastle building it up from deep. And they've just torn us open. And but for a wee stop and then a block afterwards, we could have been all square. That was really, really nice play by Newcastle. It pains me to admit when teams play nicely against us, but I will acknowledge it. They have stepped it up. I feel like that goal has given them a little bit of hope and a little bit of confidence. Middle B, not been good in this game. I'm going to take him off and bring in Junior to play false 9. You can see a 6.7 rating. I don't want to throw Middle B under the bus, but there's a bus coming by and I'm giving him a nudge. He's not been good enough today. And well, Newcastle with a chance here. Tomori, back post header, hits the crossbar and goes over. This is not pleasant viewing. This is, you know, at 2 goals I was happy. At 1 goal, Newcastle, they've I don't know, the wind is in their sails. Let's keep the ship analogies going. We might have a chance here. What has happened here? Carlier, 1-on-1, pure footballing brilliance by Crystal Palace, says the commentator. I agree. That finish, though, was not brilliant. It was kicked straight at the keeper. It was a chance. And it remains at 2-1. I'm just worried that we're going to regret all these opportunities we've crafted out against a really good team away from home. Carlier trying to get in behind yet again. He's had multiple chances in this match. His heroics of the semi-final, they're in the back of my mind right now because this game he's not been good enough, but that is a pass to Junior who's through 1-on-1. He's now hit the woodwork. And this is starting to feel like one of those days, one of those games in Football Manager where it's just, we're not going to put in the killing blow and it might come back to bite us. And now Henia's picked up an injury. That is not good news. I'm going to bring in Moriba. I feel like Moriba's just not played at all this second half of the year. I've seen a few people comment talking about how good Moriba's been in their save games. I've seen Moriba be incredible in Football Manager this year. Our version of Moriba, he ain't that good. There's a reason I could sign him for £20 million from Leipzig. It's like they knew he was a defective product. In general, he's not been good enough for us. I feel like me describing him as a defective product probably isn't doing his confidence any good, but I trust him here, I think. He's getting a chance to show us what he's all about for the last 10 or so minutes. As Fofana gives the ball short, Newcastle United are bringing it forward. I said I trusted you, Fofana. Don't let me down. Agume bursting through the middle. The French centre mid hits it, hits the woodwork, hits the keeper on the back. We get it away from danger. There's 5 minutes left. I'm stressed, but mercifully, we're going to hold on for a win. A really, really big win as well. It finishes 3-1 here. Stuck it out with the 4-3-3 after the win against Liverpool, and that was why. With that, we closed the gap on Newcastle to 9 points, but unfortunately, with the games remaining, we aren't going to catch them. The good news is for us, we are extending that gap on the teams chasing us, and with 6 looking like it's kind of in the bag now, I think it's all going to be about the FA Cup final next episode, which I'm scared for, and I'm desperately hoping that Henia, one of our few experienced players, he is going to be ready for it. That game, by the way, that FA Cup final is taking place on the 18th of May. So it's a month away. There is plenty of time for players to build up some fitness. Interesting to note, it's on a Wednesday. No idea why it's on a Wednesday. Probably a side effect of the custom database we're using. It does mean that the game penultimate to that against the Wolverhampton Wanderers is 3 days before. I will hope 6th is secured by then so I can rotate the team. I'll tell you what, they might not have been the most convincing of wins, they might not have been by the biggest of margins, but they felt good to watch. Considering some of the games we have had this season, to see us beat Liverpool at Wembley, to see us beat Newcastle, the reigning champions, at St James's Park, that really does start to give me confidence that this young side can develop into something really great. And maybe the first chapter of this Crystal Palace story can conclude next time out. I feel like if we could win the FA Cup, that would be the start of us hopefully becoming a truly great team in England. It's going to be a big challenge. The board expectation was to make it to the final. We've managed that. And as we've already discussed, we might be taking on this Manchester United team with the winner getting European football. If you have enjoyed today's episode, I know I say this every time, I really do mean it. Drop a like on the video, it seriously helps me out. Loads of new people have been finding the channel recently through the YouTube recommended algorithm. liking videos, commenting on videos, even if it's just to tell me what you've had for lunch or how bad I am at Football Manager. That all helps the algorithm do its magical stuff and help new people find the channel and, well, join us on our Park to Prem adventure. So I massively appreciate you guys who do help out in that regard. We're done for today. Next episode, we're going to be ending the season, I assume, with the FA Cup final for all the marbles. Unless something crazy happens in the league, well, it's probably not going to happen. It's probably going to be the FA Cup final. Right, I'm done, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow for more. Take care, have a lovely rest of your Wednesday, and until next time, it is me, Jack, and I'll see you on the next one. I'm out.